What if GLALIE was in Gen 1 OU? I already know that for ADV, GLALIE honestly isn't that bad. But what I remember, I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be a spike setter lead with explosion. That's already pretty good. But you know what? For Gen 1, RBY, these stats are not that bad. All of these together lead to a pretty good base stat total. Keep in mind that Tauros has 70 special, and that's considered good. Snorlax has 65 special on defense, and that special is considered enough to, at the very least use Ice Beam sometimes. So, GLALIE here honestly has everything going for it. Pretty decent speed, pretty good bulk, pretty decent offenses. That's pretty cool. Really cool, actually. Pun not intended. So, thankfully there's not much to really say here. It just can kind of do whatever. Okay, I can't say that exactly. A big problem with GLALIE is the fact that there's not really any ways to set up with it. You can't really heal with it unless you go for rest. And I guess rest is possible. Like I said, it is decently bulky, but I don't think it's bulky enough to where you can get away with turns not doing anything. You don't have any boosting moves, no status. So it's kind of awkward. You can tank hits pretty well. And you can dish a little bit back, but yeah, I guess that's it. Does this one counter at least? Counter could be interesting. It does not. One move it does learn though that you don't see on here is Hyper Beam. In fact, when I originally tried testing the replays, you'll see with some of the first few with Snorlax and Chansey, my original set was Blizzard, Explosion, Earthquake, and Hyper Beam. But I just wasn't impressed with the damage output. Again, you'll see in a bit when we go over the replays, but I feel like if you want to use a moveset, obviously Blizzard and Explosion are must-haves. A stab Blizzard from 80 special is honestly hitting pretty hard. Explosion is Explosion, so obviously you're not gonna use it, I guess. Earthquake is overall pretty good damage, and it's just a way for you to be a pretty decent mix attacker. And Hyper Beam, I feel like just doesn't get the kills you want with the crit rate you have. So for GLALIE, I kind of think it's probably better just to go for Body Slam. Fish for paralysis. Once you get the paralysis, Earthquake does more damage. And worst case scenario, you just go for Boom. Boom is a much more consistent way to take out anything compared to Hyper Beam anyways. By the way, with that speed, you outspeed Cloyster, but it's not too big of a deal, since Cloyster kind of hard walls you anyways. So the only big relevant thing that you're outspeeding is Executor, I guess. But hey, because of that bulk, you'll see in a little bit, you can actually survive a Body Slam and a Hyper Beam from Tauros. So that's where its bulk can really shine. I'm not really sure how you switch this thing in. I don't know. Like, I'm looking at this. I look at its moves, they're great. I look at its stats, they're great. That typing is great. Mono Ice is completely fine for RBY. But I don't know, man. I just struggle to picture how this thing would work in a proper 6v6. Why would you use these other ice types? I could be wrong about this, but some people are probably thinking this is pretty good. But I don't know. It looks like it, but I'm also not seeing any wow factor. So, compared to, like, Lapras, which has Bolt Beam coverage, maybe Sing if you're feeling risky, that, is a good reason to use that. Articuno straight up hits harder and has Earthquake immunity. That's a reason to use it. Cloyster and Jinx are self-explanatory. You can let me know what you think in the comments, but I I don't know, I probably wouldn't use it. But maybe I might change my mind when I look back at these replays. Let's watch them together. Starting off with the boy himself, we got Tauros. In body sim, only doing 30 while you do like more than a third. That's pretty good. Explosion. I do not know if the crit mattered, but it probably didn't since the Tauros was almost at half health anyways. So that's honestly pretty good. Do I consider that a good matchup or could go either way? That is the question. Now for Snorlax, it's both better than and worse. Obviously, you're faster than it, which can definitely help you. But at the same time, Snorlax itself is bulkier and hits a little bit harder than Tauros. But also, this replay here could have been completely preventable. Like I said, I wasn't too impressed with Hyper Beam, and that was part of the reason why, as you saw there. What was it? Only a... I'm struggling to find it. Yeah, here we go. 26%. Only a fourth. That's kind of garbage. If I just went for Blizzard or Explosion, that would have done more than enough to take care of Snorlax. So honestly, yeah, I think I take back what I said. I think this is just strictly a more consistent matchup than Tauros. I think you just can't be ground back, because if you're ground back, you do dumb misplays. As for Chansey, Earthquake, I guess with a crit, you can two-shot it. And thankfully, GLALIE has a decent crit rate, you know, being at 80 attack and all. And speed and everything, really. But like, as you see there, I've learned this a lot when it comes to base 80 or 85 attack Pokemon that don't have normal stab. The damage isn't really too impressive against Chansey. At best, you're like hoping for a special drop or a crit. But still, worst case scenario, you go for Boom. And booming on Chansey is always a really, really good trade. And then for Zam, Psychic is a big problem. Paralysis is a big problem. But it's like a 3-shot. So you're better off just going for Explosion. And when you do go for Explosion, you're definitely getting a kill. So, yeah, that's that. At the very least, Zam probably can't stay in on you since it's risking a lot. But Cloyster, yeah, Cloyster can absolutely stay in. It is having no problems whatsoever. Or actually, that's not entirely true. Remember how I said that being faster than the Cloyster didn't really matter? Well, I guess that's not the case with Body Slam. Because Clamp isn't really hurting you. So GLALIE is actually able to fish for Paralysis. But the issue is, Cloyster has Rest. So you go for more Earthquakes, maybe getting lucky with a crit. And then once Cloyster wakes up, you can try fishing for Paralysis again. But more than likely, Cloyster is probably going to whittle you down with Clamp. But you also have Explosion, so I think I had this in unwinnable. But looking at the replay again, definitely seems like I did a bit of a misplay there by not just going for Explosion and trying to fish for another Paralysis. I'm pretty sure GLALIE had the capability to take out Cloyster here, so yeah, I gotta change the tier list after this. Because GLALIE can actually annoy Cloyster, or at the very least whittle its resources. And for Executor, I was surprised that Blizzard's only a 2-hit KO. It actually makes, you know, special drops from Psychic kind of a big deal. But it's also not the worst thing in the world. It's not like Executor's actually staying in. Not only could he get frozen, but again, GLALIE's crit rate's honestly not that bad. So, I'd consider that a good matchup, at least in my opinion. And then Gengar. It's faster than you, but you're tanking its attacks pretty well. So Earthquake is a consistent 2-hit KO. You don't care too much about being at half HP, since GLALIE can probably find an opportunity to outspeed something and then threaten Explosion. And what do you know, the Gengar was just killed. You don't have to worry about Boom, or having your Boom be absorbed. That's nice. Same thing here, but Jolteon has a better crit rate and hits harder with Stab. So be careful, but you can definitely win this. Not a problem. Alright, let's keep moving on. We're almost done. And for, I believe this is going to be Jinx. This one's pretty rough on both sides. They hit about as hard as each other. So I think it mostly depends on if GLALIE gets the paralysis or not. Or I guess, look at the damage. GLALIE might have been able to win just using Earthquake. But I'm pretty sure fishing for paralysis is probably better? Question mark. Who knows? Either way, it's fairly even, or both can, hit each other for some damage. By the way, I'm not sure when, but I would love to do Mega GLALIE. Also, to my surprise, Rhydon actually survives. So I was going to put this in great matchup, but I think I have to put it in good, since Rhydon has the capability to hurt GLALIE. And that kind of sucks. Alright, so for Starmie, this is really not that great. The only way you wall it... Actually, I guess you don't. Blizzard is the only move that GLALIE doesn't mind being hit by. If GLALIE is paralyzed, Thunderbolt can be annoying, and both Psychic and Surf are Stab. So yeah, GLALIE kind of has to go for Explosion, but I'm pretty sure Starmie can survive it, so... Yikes. But last but not least, we have Zapdos. Zapdos is faster, but GLALIE at least has Stab on its side. So that's a 3-hit KO, and Blizzard's a 2-hit KO. Thankfully, you get the freeze here, but there's a good chance that Zapdos actually might have a 2-hit KO with the damage range, but I'm not sure. Which changes tier list a little bit. I think Cloyster needs to be moved to force to go for Boom, but you always KO it. Snorlax can be moved to good. Rhydon needs to be moved to good. And I think the rest of this is... Yeah, I think this is good. Overall, a pretty good Pokemon. Do I think it's better than Frostlass? I don't think so at all. And for Frostlass, I will probably be making that video very soon, so be on the lookout for that. But Frostlass is a Pokemon that's been used in, just like Pasepalon, it's been used in both the Christmas Generation Jumble, as well as the Limited Natdex Jumble. So that one might take a bit of time, since Frostlass was definitely better and used more. By the way, I have a Discord server where I like to host tournaments based off my what if videos and have formats. Even if you don't like to actually play, we have rules if you just like to watch matches live, or if you only want to see the posts for the statistics and usage ratings and win rates and all that stuff. But that's about it. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.